After Cyclone Gabriel, I never thought I'd be in Coromandel fishing Laurie's softbait comp, but against all odds, we were driving up the coast of Coromandel, heading towards Coromandel town. This year I wanted to put more of a focus on my fishing and relaxation compared to previous years where I'd focused mostly on the filming. We had almost 120 anglers this year, and it was so great to catch up with all the people from around the country who'd supported me since the cyclone. That night, me and Dad put a few saucies and burgers on the fire pit and settled down into a lovely evening with a bunch of like-minded individuals.
You light him up.
Live fire.
Before we knew it, it was the next morning. Over 100 kayakers were launching off Opedo Bay to go hunt down trevally, kahawai and snapper on softbait. I, of course, was waiting on the beach for some unsuspecting kayaker to turtle in the tiny surf. Oh, don't go Simon. After no turtles, I thought I'd better get out there and actually try and catch a fish. With 2 rods on board, I headed out a short distance off Opedo Bay. There were a lot of people heading out further, but I noticed a few people had begun to hook fish right in close. On my 3rd cast and very close to the beach, I hooked up big. Similar to 2021, my first fish was a trevally. Luke was also fishing nearby and he'd also hooked a trevally and landed his also.
Yeah, look at mine. Yeah, bro. Yeah, well hooked. Never coming off. Yeah, boy. That's a 50.
I made the call to take this first trevally home to the fish and chip shop to eat that night for dinner. I was honestly too scared to put it on the measuring board, as I'd caught it so early on in the comp and it could be really important for later on. There was a lot of signs showing on the sounder and really shallow, so I continued chucking my small paddle tail into the water that was only 8 meters deep.
Well, first cast on the move. Probably snap this time. Yep. Good one. So, we're kind of mark fish in close here in about 10 meters. I saw a couple other people hook up straight away and everyone else kind of buggered off. And I was like, oh well, I'll have a cast. And I got a trev on my 3rd cast, about 50. And I think we're possibly about to get our first snap for the trip. First snap in 6 months even. They were really happy to be hooked up. I wasn't expecting to stay out here very long, but since I'm in nice and close, the arms are feeling pretty good. He's a nice eater. Put him in the back for dinner. Oh yeah, he's a nice eater for dinner. And that'll be my fish to eat for dinner. And then we can do upgrading from there. Sweet. She's nice fish. Dinner. Sorted. And now we only have kahawai to go. I've only caught 2 fish. So, mate, I'm having a bit of a blinder out here. I mean, pretty good so far.
If I'm going to be taking a fish home to eat, I brain spike them immediately. Then I put the knife into the gills to get the blood out straight away, no matter if it's a pelagic or a bottom fish. This removes any blood from the meat and improves the eating quality, fresh or frozen.
Hooked one in 6 meters. Nice fish though, I think. Definitely a legal fish. Nowhere near as big as the last one. He's a little one. Lit up to hell on the drop. There you go. So what we're doing now is heading over to the island. It looks like the wind's kind of getting blocked by the murks out there, so it's pretty nice actually. And over here, sounds like it's a bit of a washing machine around the front, but I think this island and the wash and everything is going to be our best bet for a kahawai, because we'll just target that for now, and then we can sort of hack away at a bigger snap. So yeah, things are looking good. Arms are hurting a bit, but that's all good. So we'll head out and have a look around for a kahawai. Keep the lure out the back.
Out behind the island, it was significantly worse chop, but it looked to be a good area as it dropped away really quickly to 25 metres. I was hoping the bait fish out here would be holding a few kahawai. I set my drift chute on a drift just along the edge of the island and began casting soft baits into about 20 metres. I kept in touch with the paddle tail on the way down, and soon a fish picked it up as I was working it back up to the surface mid-water. It seemed to be swimming out across the surface. This might be the one I'm looking for.
Gonna be a kahawai. Yes! Look at that! I'll keep his head low if I can.
As per usual, the kahawai was doing his best to get away right alongside the kayak.
Doing my best to lose it, aren't I? This hook's good though. Dude, get in there. There we go, there's 3. This is squiddy calling. I have all 3 species. Yeah, buddy.
It was time to pull out the measure board and get this kahawai measured so I could let him go.
Right. Here's your mark. Right. That'll do. And he's away.
I moved back around the other side of the island and began casting back onto the sand to hopefully catch a larger snapper. I pretty quickly got on a good drift and hooked up to a nice fish.
On the leader. Beautiful. Go in the measurer, it's probably a little bigger.
I measured him at 41 centimeters and quickly got the hook out and let the fish go.
Sweet.
I pretty quickly got onto another fish on the same drift. Fighting snapper on light gear is so much more fun than hauling them up on the heavy gear that I'm used to at home.
That's better. And of course it fucking came off, didn't it?
Don't do what I do here and try to turn the camera on right after you hook the fish, as the line will often go slack as you're not winding. Normally I'd have voice control on the GoPro, but it was just too windy today to hear me. I suspected this fish to be a big trevally, and thankfully it wouldn't take long for me to get a second chance. This fish, however, wasn't a trevally, it was just another nice snapper, and I soon let him go. Noticing a lack of bites in the afternoon on the natural coloured baits, I decided to swap over to a bleeding banana colour, which is almost the same colour as my kayak. I thought this brightened up colour in the afternoon might make the difference on a few more fish. On the first cast, I was hooked up solidly on the drop.
Oh, you're kidding me. Have I got another trev?
I immediately saw tail beats in the run, so from now on I was treating this like it was a nice trevally. This means patience on the drag and just letting the fish come up in its own pace. Looking at the rod tip, you can see typical trevally tail beats. At this point in the fight, it was just a stalemate on the bottom. Any extra pressure and I may pull the hook out of its soft mouth.
Just gonna drag a little. Yes, big mark, isn't it?
After a couple of minutes on the bottom, I was finally beginning to make some ground on the fish.
Slowly coming up, like it's a big mark. He's not behaved at all like a carwai. And he's not behaving like a snapper either. Just get that ready. How big is he? Better. Oh, he is a bit better, I think. By the looks of that.
I was taking no chances for this trevally to get away. I showed real patience on the net and let it circle until it was ready.
I'm playing him up into the net. One more.
Chicken to ginger ale. Where are you, buddy?
Yeah, he's a good ball. Oh yes! Oh yes! Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
After an epic fight on the light softbait gear, the trevally was put onto the board and measured up. Not before having a go at escaping out of the net though. I was obviously stoked to land this nice fish late in the day, and it upgraded my length to about 50 centimeters.
There you go.
With the third fish let go, and all fish now entered into the comp on the measure mat, I headed back to the shore, very happy with how the day had gone considering the conditions. The only thing left to do was navigate the surf, and I was taking no chances on a turtle this time. Right, so today's all done. We've been out to Opedo.
Who's turtling? Who's turtling? Someone's turtling.
But we had about 12 knots when we got out there, and it rose like it said it was to about 16, and it was just comfortable enough in that bay for me to be comfortable. A lot of guys actually went really far out, some even to Great Mercury, which is bloody good on them honestly for getting out there. I stayed in close where I picked up a trev, then I picked up a snapper, and then I went over to the island where I heard there were a few carwai working around, and first drop I got the carwai. So in about 2 hours I got all three, and then the rest of the day was just spent trying to upgrade the snapper. And I had a few really solid hits and a few solid runs, and I was trying to turn the camera on a couple of them, and I let the line go slack, so I really gotta get on top of that tomorrow wherever I may end up. Yeah, so I upgraded the trev later on after missing all those fish, which I think were other trevs. I got one, and that was 50 centimeters, so not far behind 53, which is leading. And all three species, which is, when you can say you've done that in about 2 or 3 hours on one day, on a shit day, I think we're going pretty good. So tomorrow, heading up the coast just a little bit. We're not going to go too far because I'm not really interested in going all guns blazing trying to win this thing. Yeah, we'll go over, I think, some mussel farms. New spot again. I've fished somewhere different every time I've been up here. Try and upgrade that snapper. And yeah, I'm looking for one over 50. I want one closer to 60. If I got one at 60, I'd be pretty over the moon because it'd boost me up to about 15. Yeah, so I need to upgrade both the snapper and the carbo to have any chance to be at the top. I'm not sure about the mining placings, but yeah, we'll give it a go. I need a carbo over 50 though. That's the real bother. I always get little ones up here. I mean, little is 47, but you know, not an adult ocean run carbo. So yeah, we'll get packed up. Gonna be a bit of rain overnight, I think, and maybe in the morning. So we'll get all wet weather gear geared up, and yeah, I'll see you in the morning.
Morning team, it's day 2 of the 3 species and we're out here off the western side of Coromandel, and what was meant to be a nice day it's turned into a bit of a blustery rainy day. Had a shitload of rain overnight, tent was leaking a little bit, and we've only just caught our first fish a little while ago on the bait dragging out behind, but they just don't seem to be feeding for whatever reason. Haven't had any hits on the bait out the front, apart from a little nibble at the farms, and I've just come out into the middle to fish the deeper structure. So we've got a few hours, it's only 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'll just go across all the structure, see if I can't find one.
It was a pretty wet and wild morning out here in the channel, but I finally managed to hook up to a fish while dragging a soft bait out behind the kayak. I was going to be taking a few home talks bait for the family, and this one here was a perfect candidate. Unlike the eastern side of Coromandel, where I was getting almost every fish on the drop, the western side of Coromandel seemed to have the snapper wanting to feed more on the bottom, so my dragging soft bait out behind the kayak was doing all the damage. Soon, fish number 2 rose to the surface, and I got the net ready to put fish number 2 into the bin. The natural coloured baits were doing the damage again, this time red bone 4-inch paddle tail. Since the fish were mostly smaller in this area, I headed out wider to look for a nice bit of structure to cast into the shallows to hopefully pick up that larger snapper I was after. I'd found a nice rock that came up just under the surface, so I swapped over to a 7-inch bruised banana soft bait and began casting right over the top of the rock. My lure got inhaled on the way down in about 2 meters of water, so I was pretty worried. I knew this fish was right in the rocks, so I just kept the rod high and tried to get myself over the top of it.
Fuck, if he's any bigger than that I would have been in trouble. Yeah, he might even be a PB for me. Smoked it. Oh, that's a lovely fish. That's a nice fish, that one. I'll do that drift again. Might even go 50 if we're lucky. I don't think he's quite 50, but... beautiful. That's a good one.
Having hooked this fish in 2 meters, I needed to get straight over the top of it, and that meant getting the drift chute in, and unfortunately, that little moment lost me the fish. This one was a step above everything else I hooked the entire weekend, just from the weight alone. I didn't even know it was hooked. Lessons learned for next time. Another drift over this rock provided another solid hookup to another nice snapper, but nothing like that last one.
Good one. Found a rock. Got him out. Oh, another nice one. Look at that. Beautiful. That's what I want. Good spot. A dark fish, this one. Real nice panties. So we've done our dash at that rock. We hooked a pretty good one, dropped it. Had some kingies up on the lure, had one of them in his mouth. Didn't hook the damn thing. That was my one chance, and then they buggered off. There's a pack of about 10 on the lure. We've got a big work up in front of us. Hopefully it doesn't move too fast. It looks like it's staying fairly stationary. So we're going to shoot in there and we're going to try and upgrade this carwai, because we've just upgraded the snapper and hopefully a 50 plus carwai. Jesus Christ! It's a go on! Woohoo! They're big in there, bro. Fuck, there's some sign. I nearly had him in the net straight away. Whole screen's lit up. Yeah, he jumped on the boat. Yeah, this one. It's a big boy. I thought he was little. Well, I got it on the cam. Come up, you bastard. Oh yeah, there's still fish out in front of us. Meatball. Oh yeah, that's solid. It's a good one. Get in there, bro. Yeah, good one. Yeah, big up. Yeah, 51. That's good. There you go. On to the next one.
Fast one.
Jesus.
After all that kahawai carnage, it was time to head back in, as it was almost cut-off time for the measure-in. To my surprise, after competing against 115 anglers, I'd somehow managed to sneak onto the podium.
Second for the catch and release trevally via whiting, 500mm. Right, going to have to move on to the first.
So we're all done here. It's 3 species for this year. So happy that we made it up to fish this year because I didn't think I was going to make it. So yeah, we had a good day out today and broke the PB snapper on a soft bait. Nearly broke 50 centimeters. Fished a cool area around the islands. And yeah, the Trev ended up going second in the catch and release section. So I was pretty happy that I actually decided to measure it and borrow the board from Laurie. So yeah, I've learned a lot this year. Really kind of honing in on the technique for soft baiting, getting the fish more on the drop now. So the next thing really is to sort of get onto those bigger snapper. Good to see that Ryan took out everything with his monster, just under 20 pound I think it was. So yeah, we're just gearing up for tonight. We're going to have a chill around the fire pit again, and we're on the road tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching, really appreciate it, and I'll see you out on the water again soon.